What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis here and welcome back to another video here on the channel. And today we are here from Dubrovnik in Croatia, and we are here to talk about what happened in the 2-2 draw between Barcelona and Osasuna. A very bittersweet game because we saw incredible things from the standpoint of a Barcelona fan, things that we've been waiting for them to happen for a very long time, but then we concede goals in a very stupid manner, and that dog needs to shut up, because if not, we're not gonna be able to get into this review. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So just like we always do, I think that we need to start off with the lineup. And the lineup was pretty fair, to be honest. It was the exact same team that played against Real Betis at the Camp Nou. But yeah, needless to say, there was some need of changing to be done, because the very first 10 minutes was all Osasuna. And Osasuna managed to cramp up a very big, significant number of shots at the start of the game that really left Barcelona looking just atrocious, to be honest, because we conceded again before we actually managed to score a goal, meaning that against Bilbao, against Real Betis, and now against Osasuna, we've been the team with one goal down, and that's not positive at all. If you're looking at one of the best teams in Europe, if you're looking at someone to go to challenge for the Champions League, that's not a position that you always want to be in. The reason why Osasuna managed to be, perhaps not, I would say overall in the full 90 minutes, the best team, but certainly looked the most dangerous in most occasions, was because of their high frequency of shots per possession. For a team that only had 25% of the ball in this game, it's outstanding that they managed 15 shots. And that is something that Barcelona need to get back into the game. The reason why Barcelona has been so good in the previous years with Guardiola, Luis Enrique, all of that, has been because when they got possession, they managed to do something with it. At one stage in the first half, around the 25th minute, we had 76% possession and only 2 shots, which is not good enough. Barcelona need to be taking advantage of these chances, and I think that with this comes a lot of learning. The way that we need to connect our midfield to the front line, because it's not good enough what we're doing at this stage. Players like Rafinha and Carlos Perez associating themselves with the midfield, and to that I would like to add Antoine Griezmann, were not nearly as good as they were against Real Betis, maybe because of the high pressure of Osasuna players, or just simply how tight the lines were between both of their, well, midfield and defensive lines for Osasuna, and that just led them to let the play be completely controlled by De Jong, and De Jong couldn't do it just on its own, really. And De Jong looked so far apart in this game in the very first half, because he was being pushed to the left hand side, then he turned onto the right hand side, and never really was just adjusting himself, and never really was able to get a grasp on the tempo of this game. And that is something that De Jong normally does, like without even looking, and that is just very, very underwhelming if you ask me. Well, that was very underwhelming if you ask me. That is something which Valverde has to start to focus, because if we're gonna play Busquets and De Jong in the very same system, we need to have a proven midfield alongside her, a proven player that can also contribute to that, and that player seemed to be Arthur. The moment that he entered in the second half, Barcelona, in that change, that aspect of the game, the transition of the ball, looked much better. So I think that if you ask me, that final player that is not Sergio Roberto has to be Arthur Melo. Arthur Melo, the way that he just simply touches the ball, he doesn't do anything more than his short passes, and that's literally what I'm asking. I just want him to have short passes with the ball, because then he can lead the dribbling, he can let the defensive work to Busquets and De Jong, and that's just what we need. We need that ticking metronome. Another reason why Barcelona, in my opinion, were just too lucky when it comes to creating chances was because we only relied on one side of it. It was really all about Jordi Alba in that left hand side. 43% of our game went through that side, then 28 through the middle, and 30 through the right hand side, meaning that in reality Barcelona are an asymmetrical team. That's something that you do not want to see. In some cases you may have better players, I know it's gonna take it, like for instance when we have Messi, of course more of our play can go even for the right, but in reality it's way simpler on paper. So yeah, Barcelona, that's something that they need to change. In so many aspects of the game, so many moments, Jordi Alba looked to overlap with Rafinha, and that was just creating so much hassle. I don't know really what happened there, because in the previous game they looked to understand each other very well. And for the right hand side, the very same thing between Nelson Semedo and Carles Perez. I guess how a relationship can start from the get-go being very good, you might start running into trouble if they don't have a proper understanding of one partner in the long run. Of course, Semedo is an amazing player going forward. Of course, Roberto is also just good, just being a carrilero, and Carlos Perez just an outstanding right winger, but there was something not ticking for the right hand side, and Barcelona should try and look at it and address it. In my opinion, is that Carles Perez wasn't really coming back often to let Semedo overlap as much. That wasn't really happening. It was all seemed that Carles Perez was just positioning himself outside from the box, looking to shoot, and that's not the way to do it. You need to start associating yourself with your team more, and that's just simply down to time. So the more Carles Perez plays, the more, or well, the less problems we'll see like this occur. And of course, in the second half, everything changed. The introduction of ANSU FATI was amazing. It really gave us that extra man in the midfield, which is gonna sound really different because Rafinha moving back to the midfield and well, eventually getting Arthur Melo. That's when everything started clicking. That's when it really worked out. ANSU FATI just was that left winger that we needed to stretch out the defense of Osasuna, and he was perfect at doing so. Of course, he might be in the future much more influential for the center, just because he has so much talent that we don't want to waste. But for this game specifically, that's what we needed. He was the perfect medicine, the perfect remedy, and it worked out. Barcelona fixed for a moment, and Osasuna, of course, with less intensity, led us to score that goal and then, well, the next one. I'm going to be talking more individually about those two situations later on, but I just want to wrap this kind of Barcelona perspective or, I don't know, reaction about their actual game, actual performance as a team by saying that I think that we need to start thinking about getting this from the get-go. I think that Valverde is going too much with what we know already and not perhaps assessing too much what the team actually needs, what not the team actually needs against opposition, if you understand what I mean. It's not only about having your team be the perfect it can be, but also thinking about what the other opposition might do. In this case, Osasuna, if we could have managed to introduce ANSU FATI from the middle, from the get-go, have someone like Arthur and perhaps in Arturo Vidal, if you ask me, we may have done a little bit better of a job, but that's not up to me to decide. That's kind of up to the manager. So I don't know, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think that the selection of the team was right from the start? And do you think that Barcelona need to do better? Because until now, I think Barcelona are doing fine. I think they're kind of 70%, kind of like a good passing grade, but it needs to be, of course, way better. We need an A+. So to start wrapping this up, the final 2 points that I wanted to talk about was about our individual players. I want to talk about ANSU FATI and I want to talk about Carles Perez. In the case of ANSU FATI, I think that it's just incredible that we are seeing someone so young, the youngest ever scorer for Barcelona in their history, just join the squad. And I was actually thinking, like, I didn't ever got the chance to see Lionel Messi play, like, of course, his very first game and score his very first goal. But I'm kind of like thinking now, could this be kind of like a world star in the making? Could we be seeing the next like big huge talent, and we just got to see his very first goal for Barcelona? That's the sort of things I was thinking whenever he grabbed the ball, and I was just looking for more things that would let me to believe that in the long run. But at this stage, for now on, I think we need to keep our heads clear and just let him do the job. Let him work, let him be focused, because there's certainly a lot of things that he needs to improve, but there's also certainly a lot of things that we can be happy about at this moment. And now in the case with Carles Perez, I gotta say just one thing, which is not negative by any means. I think he's one of the hardworking wingers we've seen in a very long time. The way that he just simply shuffles the defenders are incredible, are really just something to be admired. But I think that his decision making needs to improve, like not ASAP, but of course he has a long journey ahead of him, but it's something that he needs to improve. Like, he had 3 chances. 2 of them he could have passed easily to another player inside the box, and well, there was another where he just took too long to decide what he wanted to do, and he didn't do either. That's the sort of situations that players of the highest of calibers don't make anymore. That is something that I was asking to Dembélé on his very first season for a very long time, and I'm at this stage. So let's hope that Carles Perez can learn a little bit quicker than Ousmane has done by far. But you can just see that he's an amazing talent, and as soon as he kind of just polish those little aspects of his game, he's gonna be becoming much more important for Barcelona. So good at it, keep at it, and let's just see how he develops. So overall, guys, hopefully you have enjoyed this video. Be sure to drop us a like and leave us a subscribe if you did. I am, of course, on holiday, as you can probably tell. But yeah, like, I still want to make Barcelona videos. I'm still watching the games. I still have a lot to say, and especially when we have the very first goal of ANSU FATI, it's worth mentioning, right? It's worth making a video. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Ciao.